welcome to the One Player Podcast, the show on solitaire board games. I'm your host, Albert, and this is episode 395.
Ohana means family.
Ohana, yes. Welcome to the Ohana episode, everyone.
What a good movie. What a good movie.
Yep.
So, Albert, what are we talking about today?
Today, well, we're talking about family games.
But Albert, I thought we're a solo podcast.
We are. Oh, that's right. We're talking about family games that you could also play when your family is not around, and are fun.
So this is, if sometimes you want to go away from your family, lock yourself in your cave, and ignore everybody else for a couple hours, but every once in a while they come in and invade, and now you have to play a game with them too.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and this lady's interviewing some famous actor. I don't know who he is. And all of a sudden her phone rings and she says, "Oh, that's them upstairs." And she goes and she pauses, and it's her kids calling her. Her family just trying to get a hold of her while she's recording her very important podcast. And then sliding notes under the door. So you can't always get away from them, no matter what. So sometimes you have to play with a family, and you want the game to be good. Sometimes you want to play solo, and you want the game to be good. That's just the way it is.
Could be a problem.
Close the door. Speaking of shutting out the family, however, I still have the cats in here. I can't shut them out, unfortunately, because they jump on my back now. The kittens.
We'll have to do an episode for playing with the cats next time.
Oh, no, you can't. You don't play big games. Well, no, you play big games with a nice big box. You leave the box out, and it just catches a cat, and the rest of the game is safe. That's the trick.
There you go.
Cats just love boxes. Well, cats in boxes. Anyway, so yeah, family games. So Julius, what do you consider a family game?
A game. Well, for me, what I was considering family games, it has to be something that really any age can enjoy. If you're talking about anyone who is of the younger side, my family is perhaps more advanced, at least a little bit more advanced. So I feel like you even have to be at a little bit lower level. It has to be pretty pretty simplistic, pretty easy for them to understand to just get started and jump in.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that sounds about right. For the most part, my family doesn't like to play games very much. Occasionally, I'll corral my wife to play. My daughter almost never. My son, yeah, he loves a game. But he, like me, he likes heavier, thinky games. So I wouldn't call those family games. I think that generally a family game needs to be relatively light, just like you said. That's the caveat. Pretty simple. So this is a popular mechanics episode. Every 5 shows we do one of these. So we're each going to bring 3 games to the table and just talk about the 3 games.
And speaking of which, so the first one, I tried to pick ones specifically for my collection because I do have a fair number of family games that are solo games. I also tried not to pick ones that, or at least I excluded ones that I felt like you couldn't find anymore. For example, Dungeon Roll was one that I thought would be a really good one. But it is a 13-year-old game at this point, and it's not necessarily so easy to find. So I tried to exclude ones that weren't quite as available at this point in time.
That's interesting. I did not do that simply because I don't buy many family games anymore. Mostly I buy solo games. Or
I hear that.
Game.
Humorously, though, the first one on my actual list is an older one, but it's one that actually you can still relatively easy find, and that is Nations, the dice game. Now, you might think that this is a surprisingly pick because, after all, Nations is a big, giant, huge board game. Well, Nations, the dice game, I feel like is a much simpler game, mostly because it's got a ton of really fun dice. You roll the dice, and then each of the dice has a big old value that you can pick. And then there are only 9 options that you can pick from to be able to purchase something it is that you want. So you pick something that you can buy, and the values is just coins and a little bit of some food or some swords or whatever it is. You spend your dice to be able to pick those tiles, place them on your board, and that swaps or upgrades some of your dice available. You'll do that over 4 rounds, each time trying to spend all of your dice as well as you can to be able to have the most amount of points on your game, on your board rather. So those big chunky dice make that really easy, really friendly to play with. Uh, it doesn't. I don't find it to be very difficult to be able to just pull that out, be able to
Hmm.
run with it, have good fun with it, and enjoy playing with those. The big chunky dice really make it much more accessible, make it a lot easier than if you were having to trade in currency and dealing with giant armies and all the points of the board map. It really condenses it all to be in a very friendly, family oriented style of game. So that's why the first one that I picked was Nations of the Dice Game.
That's a really good one. Actually, that was on my list too, so I'm crossing that one out now.
Wow.
Yeah, that's such a fun game. I mean, we hadn't played in a while. As a matter of fact, I just put it out a week or two ago, and we played it. My son and I, and picked it right up. It was real easy to learn the rules again and play. There's strategy in there that's not always obvious, but it's not super complicated either. So it's easy to pick up, and
Mm-hmm.
and as you're growing, pick up on that strategy and play it and do better. There is an
Absolutely.
expansion for this game, and to tie in the whole family thing, if you look at the rule book of the expansion, it has my name and my son's name in there as playtesters.
Ooh.
So that's pretty neat. Yeah, I really like. Well, I almost gave away one of my ones. Nations. I really like Nations, the big game. That one's super fun, super thinky. Nations, the dice game, is a nice mini version of it. Just
Yeah,
very,
but
very cool.
Nations is very much not a family game.
No, not really. It's yeah, much more complicated, much more thinky. Really good solo too, though. That would
That's
be a
true.
really good solo thinky game. Yep.
So, Albert, what's your first one then, since I stole Nations from you?
Um. Well, I'm going to talk about Sagrada, which is a really fun also dice game, just like Nations, a dice game. In this one, you're trying to build the Sagrada Familia Cathedral, and the game focuses specifically on the stained glass windows, and so it brings really nice translucent dice in many different colors that sort of look like stained glass when you put it together. If you squint. It's a real simple game. Everybody gets a window tile, and you roll dice trying to fill that tile. Each turn you're rolling a couple of dice and choosing where to put them on there based on either the color or the number, and hopefully filling the entire window. And there's a few rules like you can't put the same number next to each other. Very simple to play, very accessible, a lot of fun dice rolling, and works really well solo too. Yeah, that's a neat one. There's a few expansions for that. There's one expansion that's recommended for solo play. I haven't tried that yet actually. That adds more interesting solo. Do you have any experience with that one, Julius?
No, I don't really have much experience with Sagrada to begin with. Sorry.
Really? Okay, that's a fun game. And really nice shiny dice.
I've played it some, but mostly actually some of the other versions of Sagrada I've enjoyed more. So I've tilted away from Sagrada to other types of games in that line. So that's one's just not simply hit that much with me. Or excuse me,
Okay,
no, I'm thinking of Azul. I'm thinking of
Azul.
Azul
Oh, okay.
and perhaps another
Uh,
one that's on my list.
I wish Azul was solitaire friendly too, because that is a really pretty game and,
Yeah,
and fun and a good family game. I mean, I thought about adding in the list, but I just I can't play it solo.
I hear that.
Family games that are fun to look at solo. That's about as good as we could do with that list with that one.
True.
So, anyway, Sagrada. That's a nice game. They just came out with a new edition of it with a new pretty box. So I'm very happy with the original.
So my second one is River Valley Glassworks. River Valley
Mm.
Glassworks is a game by All Play Games where you are one of these anthropomorphic animals that are attempting to harvest glass from the river. It's got beautiful glass or plastic or acrylic pieces that you are pulling off of the board, and you are trying to arrange them on your own personal board in columns. So each of the different colors, you'll end up slotting in columns. And your goal is essentially to be able to maximize your points by having the most amount of columns in a specific spot and filling out as many rows as you can to be able to maximize your point from rows. The scoring is a little bit difficult, perhaps, to explain, but once you get the idea, it's pretty simple. I honestly wish that they had written it a little more clearly about how the scoring works on the player boards, because there's a quick reference on each of the player boards that discusses how scoring works. But it's is perhaps a little bit more difficult even than I would, but it's still it's not that difficult. So it's really a very simple, just selection game where you are using some of your pieces to purchase other pieces and place those pieces on your board and have a relatively simple scoring method. The game is very bright and very colorful. The glass or plastic pieces all look very pretty. The components, even in the so I have the deluxe version, which has like 2-player boards and has acrylic tiles moving on the river. But even the retail one has these nice cardboard tiles for the river and cardboard boards for everyone to place all of those things. Honestly, the standard one is really a very high quality one also. So that is River Valley Glassworks, a friendly game, very easy, very chilled to be able to collect all of your stuff. Very fun. You can play solo. Each of the player boards flips over to be able to have a solo bot that grabs certain types of glass, certain types of things. The game has a couple expansions that can make it a little more difficult, a little more variable, increase some of the complexity if you want to increase some of the complexity. But I think it plays just fine even without those things, especially when you're playing short, fast games with some newer players. So that is River Valley Glassworks.
I have not played that game, but I have picked it up at the game store many times, looking at it, thinking, "Should I get this? This looks really neat."
Well, maybe we'll have
So,
to do a full review so I can convince you.
yeah, yeah. Maybe I should get it. The and if you like anthropomorphic animals, this is a good one. It's got some really cute ones on it. I would recommend it for that. We should do an episode on anthropomorphic animals. It's a
Possibly.
popular mechanic. Yeah. All right. Well, that's a good
So
one. I
Albert,
like it. It sounds interesting.
what's your second?
Okay, so my second is it's a flashback of a game here. I got rid of it eventually, but this is a fun family game that we played tons. My son, when he was 6 at game conventions, he was teaching people how to play it, so it's very accessible. It's Flashpoint Fire Rescue. This is a sort of a pandemic style game, and it's what it sounds like. You're rescuing people when building has caught fire, and you go into the building with different firemen and fight the fire and rescue victims. It's super cool board. The board is a map of a building, and you walk in, and there's fire that's spreading throughout. You're hosing the fire down with water. You're moving to people and picking them up and taking them outside. You're moving the fire truck around. So a lot of fun things for young family members to play with. It's a it's an action selection game. Very simple actions that make a lot of sense. So it's very easy to grasp, super easy to learn, and there's an advanced version so that when you're older you can start playing the more advanced version. And honestly, they're not that different. So I'd say either's accessible. Lots of expansions for this if you could get them. So there's lots of different maps and lots of different firefighters you could pick from. They each work a little bit different. And there's a legacy version now, which I have not at all tried.
Mm,
I'm not a big legacy fan, so I've kind of ignored it.
I just don't think this one needed legacy game, and I haven't heard good things about it. Even though
Really?
I own all of the other stuff for Flashpoint Fire Rescue, I own all the expansions, I own all the maps, I own all the
Mm-hmm.
characters. I will say I think that one expansion is probably necessary. Um, the
The rescue dog, yeah.
no, not the rescue dog,
It'd be so cute.
not the rescue dog. That is not the right one. One of them came out and it uses a deck to simulate when it is that you have flashovers, when you have extra
Mm.
fire that has to come out, instead of having to place tokens on the board and keep control of those. But I'd have to look up and see
It's been a
um,
while, huh?
which one. Well, I just don't know the name of it because it just gets mixed into everything else. I think it's something danger, but I think that was probably a necessary expansion to be able to work. It works so much better using a deck to be able to keep track of flashovers than it does having to use the small tokens to keep track of it. But the game is excellent. Again, I've got all the stuff for it.
Mm-hmm.
It is an excellent co-op, very fun Flashpoint Fire Rescue.
Yeah, I used to have all the stuff. I sold it. And I'll probably regret it soon enough. Now that we're talking about it, like I'm starting to as we speak actually regret it because yeah, I had all the expansions. I loved the submarine and the ship and the house and the how you ride. Oh yeah, neat game. And again, super simple to play, but fun and so thematic. It just really worked really well all around. All right, so that was my number two. What you got,
Very
Julius?
nice. So for my number three, I picked One Hit Heroes. Now, One Hit Heroes is maybe a little bit more, but not a whole lot. One Hit Heroes is a co-op game where the idea is that you are heroes that can take only a single hit. Uh, and if they take a single hit from the bad guy, then they're lost. To mitigate that, each player has two items that they'll play out that they can take a hit instead. So instead, you can blow up one of your items, take the hit. The game is a card game, so everyone has their own deck to be able to play out and do things. And on your hand, you'll have a hand of cards, and you'll be able to play 3 of those cards to be able to punch the bad guy. Each of the bad guys has their own deck, and their deck is not very large. It's like often 6 to 10 cards, and the bad guy's deck is in a specific order, so it's a very on rails experience for how it is that the bad guy's deck is supposed to work. Having it be specifically in order, you never have to shuffle their deck. There's not a randomness. You know what you get when you open up the box. The bad guy's deck is going to be playing the same way. This is there is a bunch of cards, but all of the cards are, especially when you start off, all the cards are pretty basic. You play a card, you deal damage, play another card, get an action, move damage around, mitigate damage. None of the cards are the high difficulty type things that you would get out of for example, SETI or Magic or Arkham Horror or something like that. The cards are all relatively simple, relatively easy to understand. So it's just another step up, I think, but a small little step ups that still remains very friendly, very welcoming, but still gives you a lot of options. A lot of the time when you play a card, like worst comes to worst, like you play a card that's not perfectly synergistic, it's fine. It's not that big a deal. Often, I would not say that the game is that difficult to be able to play. Sometimes your decks just aren't necessarily tuned for it, but it's not that difficult to win. I think we win most of the time when we're playing this game, which is perhaps one of the reasons why it's sitting out, because I would enjoy a more deep version of the game. So that is One Hit Heroes, a card game where you are playing out, trying to control your deck to beat up the bad guys. Pretty family weight card game. One Hit Heroes.
I remember you talking about this one recently. That does sound fun. I still don't have any experience with it though.
One
It
day,
reminds
one day.
me reminds me of the game I was playing last night with my son, but boy, I wish it was more of a family game, which is Sentinels of the Multiverse. Where kind of the same idea. You're fighting the bad guy, and everybody's got their own deck. And yeah, I know the similarity ends about there, but a lot of fun.
There you go.
All
So,
right,
Albert, what's your third?
my third. I think I'm gonna pick a game I know Julius wouldn't have on his list because he doesn't like this one. Simple little game. As a matter of fact, it's called The Game. It is
no.
See, I knew it. It's a game where all you got to do is arrange the cards from 1 to 100. Simple enough, right? So there's a couple caveats to that. You're gonna have 4 cards laid on the table. 2 of them are number 1. The other 2 are number 100. On your turn, you play 2 cards to any of the piles. You could one at a time. So you could play like next to the one, you could play a 17, and next to the other one, you could play 34. Whatever you like. However, you always have to play if you're playing on the columns that start with 1, your number has to always increase from the previous number. If you're playing on the 100, it has to decrease. Once you've played your cards, you play 2, you play as many as you want. You fill your hand back up, and the next person goes. Keep doing this until everybody runs out of cards or somebody can't play anything. And if you can't play anything, you lose. That's the whole game. Sounds simple. Oh, there's one more thing, right? You could always go backwards, but if you play a card that's off by 10 exactly. So that's all the rules. There's no talking or very little talking allowed during the game. You can't talk about the numbers. So it's a quiet, boy, I hope this person doesn't have that number because I need to play this now. It's like, oh, they had the card. Darn, now we're in trouble. That kind of frustrating
How could
fun.
they?
And it's a light game. It's super simple, plays very fast. It's frustrating because you don't know what's gonna happen and you can't talk about it when it happens. Oh well, so there goes the game. We'll try it again. So it can be frustrating, but if you just don't let it get to you, it's also fun. Same for solo. It's not super easy either. It's challenging. There's a and they make a couple games like that. This is the only one that I know of that's soloable. The game, which is that other one they make with a number. I have it here. Uh, but they also make the Mind that is sort of similar, but different. And it reminds me also like what is it? Hanabi, the one with the fireworks. Again, one of those games where you can't talk about what you have. Those kind of games are fun and frustrating, but the game works solo, and that makes it good for us.
I don't think you want me to go into my rants about why this isn't a game.
It's in the name. Of course, it's a game. It's not just a game. It's the game.
Yeah, if something has to convince you that hard that it's a game, you probably have suspicions.
You don't not enough choices in there for you, or
Do you really want me to go into it?
yeah, sure. I'm curious.
Yeah, so here's the idea of the game. Theoretically, if you all are just doing random stuff, then it's entirely random. None of you actually are playing any game, making any decisions, doing anything at all when you're playing the game. You're just randomly throwing out cards. There's no decision making, there's no method of strategy that you can use to do that. There's nothing to it. Then, if you all break the rule of the game of no conversation, and then before you start, come up with a method to beat the game, then at that point in time, again, it's not a matter of, hey, so you've removed the randomness, y'all are doing a thing. But at that point in time, again, it's not a game, it's just executing on a circus act. One of the most common strategies I've seen for playing the game is everyone sits down and says, okay, we haven't started the game, so we're allowed to talk. Everyone, count in your head from 1 to 100, time it at a second per, and then when your number reaches, put out your thing, and then we win the game, right? So then at that point in time, it's just a matter of executing on your act. It's not a matter of, you're not playing the game. You're not doing anything. You're just executing on it the same as you would for a circus act. It's not a game.
That's funny. I've never heard of that count to 100 strategy thing, but to me that sounds like, hey, we're gonna play Monopoly. Let's all agree that we're gonna cheat together, because that's what it is. That's funny, and I disagree. I mean, yes, it's randomness. There's choices you can make, but they're not always right. And that's true about any game. Like LCR. That's a game that's 100% randomness. Monopoly, 100% randomness, but they're all still games. Either way, doesn't matter. It's a game you're either going to love or hate, but it is family friendly. And if you like it, I think it works well.
You know what? Just because of that, I feel like I have to have my honorable mentions just so I can clear that bad taste in my mouth.
That'll teach me. Yeah.
I had 2 honorable mentions that didn't make their way into it. One of them is a co-op game where you're a bunch of chickens trying to drive off predators called Flock Together. Another game from All Play Games, where there are cards, but the cards really, this is an action selection type game similar to Flashpoint Fire Rescue. Beautiful, cool chickens. These books that keep track of all the different things, selecting different actions you take on the board to be able to level yourself up. Kind of a little bit on the slower side, but that is Flock Together. And then I wanted to include a dexterity game because I think many dexterity games are very friendly. I don't have so many dexterity games on my shelf right now, so I picked Necojima, which is a game where you are pulling boards, these tall pillars with ropes across them from the bag and placing them in different places, and then placing cats on those wires, trying to not knock over the whole board. But I think many dexterity games really have gotten a call up because they play very well solo, many of them do, but also are excellent for families because it's a dexterity game. It's pretty simple. Pull the thing out and don't knock it over. So I felt like mentioning that as a honorable mention, but so that I don't have to end the game with Albert's mention of a game that's not a game.
It's in the name. Yeah, what were your 2 again? It was Necojima and
Flock Together.
Okay, Flock Together. I need to look into that game. My wife has chickens. We have chickens in our backyard, and she'll like this game, I think.
Well, there you go. That's another one that I
And
should
it could
really
be
get on
solo.
for a review.
Okay. I had a couple I thought of that I didn't get to. Pandemic works well. Not every family is going to like Pandemic because of the theme. It
True.
works. But, that's why Flashpoint Fire Rescue came out. And Mice and Mystics, which is a fun game.
Ooh, yeah.
Fun family game. And works well solo. Caveat being, it's a story-driven game. So if you're going to play it solo, ow, cat. If you're going to play it solo, you're going to ruin it for the family play. Right?
You
You'll know
mentioned
the story,
mice and the
vice
cat
versa.
attacked you.
Yeah, it jumped on my shoulder. We just trimmed his nails, so it's not too bad, but still, it's unexpected. It's like a parrot cat. All right, so there's our games, our 6 family-friendly games you could play solo. 5 if you ask Julius, but whatever. And a couple bonus.
Alrighty. Well, I'm going to go hang out with my family.
Yeah, and I'm going to go wake mine up. Bye, everyone.
Bye, all.